Oh, what's up, demons and demons? Tis I, Traxy, a demon queen. And we're talking about, mommy. That's right, we're talking about, Shemira. But before we get into it, as always, toss a like and subscribe down below.
Thank you.
Now, I should mention that we are on the Pioneer server, so anything we see here may not be final, and we may encounter some bugs along the way while we're doing this video. Now, as you can see, she has a wonderful model. Probably my favorite model. They really did good here on the model. I think she actually looks better here than she does in Arena. Again, fantastic looking model. Not showing too much cheek, so you know, no cheeks like Bonnie, no cheeks like Lenya. But definitely a very, very nice skin. Yeah, I love the way they designed this character. Alright, so without further ado, let's get into some abilities. Alright, so this is her ultimate, Phantom Procession, a passive, and he goes summoned by a Ghastly Tribute, joins the bombardment. Alright, active Shemira summons 10 ghosts to bombard random enemies for 10 seconds. Each ghost deals 110% damage. Plus ult power damage to an enemy target. When a ghost deals damage, Shemira heals herself for 50%, plus 5%. The damage dealt. When the ghost returns to her, she heals herself again for another 50%, plus 5% of that damage. The percentage of the ghost damage drops to 50% once they've hit more than 15 times. This just increases damage. Alright, Sacrificial Orb. Shemira sacrifices 10% of her HP to summon a Wailing Orb from a Spectral Rift 4 tiles away, dealing 320 plus 40% skill damage. As you can see, it has a cooldown of 12 seconds and starts out, that's just its radius. Its initial cooldown is 2 seconds, not bad. And she gets 300 initial energy. Alright, Ghastly Tribute. This is her third ability. 8-second cooldown, global, passive. Whenever an ally's HP or shield value lost or reaches 50% of Shemira's max HP, she summons a 1 ghost to her side. Shemira can summon up to 5 ghosts outside of her ultimate, thus getting 15 ghosts. Active Shemira sacrifices 15% of her current HP to do chill damage to a single enemy to 24% plus 3%. Of their max HP. This cannot exceed 800%. This is worth noting, and we'll talk about that later when we talk about charms. She sacrifices the 1 strike at the target enemy within the tile, dealing true damage equal to... if Shemira has a ghost summon, she sacrifices 1 to strike the target and enemies within 1 tile of the target. So she can eat up these 5 ghosts. With this ability, the damage each enemy takes cannot exceed 500%, and then this just increases the damage. Alright, this is big. This is her hero focus. You're going to want to get this up as high as possible. Shemira's energy recovery from attacks increases by 24% during battle after summoning 3 ghosts. Her energy recovery from attacks increases by an extra 6%. This additionally goes up to 40%. And then an additional 10%, so that's 50%. So you're going to see she's going to generate a ton of energy quickly. Alright, Spectral Barrier. Whenever Shemira takes a total of 30% of her max HP damage, or reaches the max number of summoned ghosts, she sacrifices 1 ghost to gain a shield for 5 seconds. The shield can absorb 250% damage. The shield value expires as Shemira unleashes its remaining power against all enemies, dealing damage equal to the shield's remaining value. Alright, this is her EX weapon. This is the plus 10. This is the big one. This is the one you're going to need. So you're going to need at least Mythic plus 10 on her. When a ghost attacks its target during Shemira's ultimate, it deals extra true damage equal to 3% of the max HP. This damage cannot exceed 90%. This is why we want ult power. This is why we want attack power. And then her enhanced force. Each time a hero is defeated, Shemira summons 1 ghost. Alright, so think like when Harak eats somebody, or somebody just flat out dies, but it's gonna be Harak eating somebody. That's what I'm thinking. Oh, we have the trial stage. I didn't check this out. This isn't a feature that I have yet to check out on Pioneer. All right. So, keeping all that in mind, one of the mistakes I went is because I got 2 of them. I went for the Sword Charms. However, her best set is going to be Blasting. Her Blasting Charms are just amazing. Oh, you know what? I actually have enough. I can just craft the Blasting Charms. But all of the comparables and the numbers we have are going to show her with the other charm set. So we'll just remove that for now. So we can play with her at that and do additional testing here in a minute. We'll just have to set up the charms for everybody else. Let's just do that while we're in here. We can just set up those charms. So we want Blasting on her. Then we need to go to Ludovic because we can just redo a Dream Realm run. And I just have everything unsocketed for a base arena testing, which we'll take a look at as well. Alright, so without further ado, as always, let's get into some testing. Now, it's worth mentioning, my twins don't have a charm set, which is going to affect our potential overall damage numbers. But we do have Odie set up as comparable because Thalassa is today's boss. So let's go into Dream Realm because that's the biggest determinant. Now, don't pay attention to this number. This number is bugged, as well as the numbers here. This number here we got was like a 72, right? So we'll just go back. We can replay this. It's like a 72 or 74. We want to keep it as scientific as possible here. And this is the current best meta, but again, we don't have Elijah Lila charms, we don't have Smoky charms, and we don't have Arena charms. Not that Arena charms are a big deal here. Well, he has the basic pitch charms. He doesn't have his set. He doesn't need a set for this boss anyway. So having those extra Mythic Plus charms isn't really going to help. But having them on Odie or Smoky would help because that would increase our attack power, and having them on the twins obviously would help as well. Alright, so we got a 73-4. Alright, so what we'll do now is we can go back in here. Alright, again, now we're going to run a similar setup. Yes, this is probably a little hard to see because this boss is difficult to see everything. And we're just making a 1-2-1 swap here with Odie. Now, Harmonic and Cascade are about the same on this boss, so I just ran with Harmonic. And what we could do is, now that I have Blasting on, we'll see, and hopefully we'll get better. So I'll hit the skip button.
Perfection needs no emphasis.
Yeah, and you see we got an 83 there, so we did 10 billion more damage with her and her Blasting set. As you can see, we do 41 here. And Ludovic's damage is 27, Smoky is 11. Again, I think that's just not having the proper charm sets on the twins and on Smoky, because we do see higher numbers. But again, everybody's plus 15. So just keep that in mind. This is kind of a sterile environment, but we don't have all the charms. Now, if we go look at Odie's damage on the boss, we can see he only does 41. So he's doing 7 billion more than Odie. So she's out damaging Odie on bosses. Now, while he has this true damage, or this percent damage as part of his set bonus, she does not. She does have an ult set bonus that is going to help her. Most of her damage is going to be coming from that 30% off the ghost and having that higher attack value, right? So that's really what's driving it. It's not necessarily the ulting increase to power there. It's the ghost doing the 3% per hit, and you're hitting with 10 ghosts at a time, and she just ults like crazy, right? So if we go in here, we're gonna we will you know what, we'll just run it because I wanted to show the energy gen, right? So it's gonna be hard. It's very hard to see on this fight. But you're gonna see, here she is You can see her energy, boom, she get ults. It does not take her long. And then, boom, she ults again. And she's gonna go on like that over and over. And then, boom, she ults again. So she ults again. So she's a very, once she gets rolling, and she gets her enhanced fort or her legendary weapon going, she's ulting like crazy. And that's what's essentially doing all the damage. And these ghosts just nuke everything. It has a little bit of a ramp up speed to it, but once it gets going, she's just a nuker. She's just blowing through these tentacles like they're nothing. And hits the boss too. So it's just, it's almost continuous ults. Almost. So you can see we got an 83-4 there. So the damage numbers are crazy. I've seen people doing as high as like 88 or so. That's on Pioneer. For Pioneer, that's high. Again, we don't have the charms here. If you're wondering why I'm #1 here, it's because I was the first person to run it, and it is bugged. Alright, so we see that she has a lot of potential there, I think, for a Dream Realm. Probably going to replace Odie on a couple fights. We'll have to see how she interacts with, like, a Rock. On some other fights, maybe how she... I don't think she'll be very good for Stomper because she is ult-heavy. Whereas in like a case of an Odie, Odie's advantage is that through his set bonus, he doesn't need to ult to get all that damage out because it's based on his regular attacks. So she might not be good on something like a Stomper, but she'll be good on something like Thalassa. She could be good on something like a Crystal Beetle, potentially an Orson, maybe a Lucia. Well, we'll have to see, right? That's all TBD. So let's take a look at stages. I do have a record I want to show, and then we'll go into, and we'll just kind of run whatever stage I have up. But as you can see here, this is her damage. Now, here she has the Sword Charm compared to Tassie with a Blasting Charm. And I'm sure you've all now seen what Tassie can do with a full Blasting Charm set, and how she can just carry a team. And here we have a Shemira doing almost the 3x of the damage, right? We still want Tassie there for that extra control factor in there, so right. And you notice it's a little different. Typically, you would see this being run with, like, Faramore and Freyasto. But now we're running with Omis for the extra control for Aaron. And then Tassie to really get that, like, lockdown effect in place. Now, this stage I have been stuck on, but that's because I yanked the charms. So we can probably pair her up. She's probably better paired with Frostball. I've just been running Surging because Surgings are really good for stages, especially early on. So we can kind of see how it goes here. And it's worth noting that Shemira is not in the Twins, so she's not getting that extra energy. She's not getting that extra attack, where Tassie is. But we need to make sure that Tassie gets that extra energy, because her CC is what's really allowing us to easily beat the stage. Although where Tassie's damage is nice, Shemira just outshines her. So we get the stage there. And again, we can take a look at the records. As you can see, we are at a deficit. Here's actually a little bit different. So I'm wondering if maybe the Sword Charms are better for stages and the Blasting Charms are better for bossing. Just so we can get that higher cap on that max HP damage and just in damage in general from her other abilities. But she did out DPS a Tassie here, so that's good. So she's a heavy nuker for stages, so probably replace Parisa on those stages where we need a heavy nuker. If we need more control, then you would probably still go with like a Bon. It all just depends what you need on the stage and what's viable on the stage. Alright, so let's go ahead. We'll take a look at some PvP. I mostly did a base arena testing. I only have one Supreme Arena test. I do have a defense that I am trying out with her. It's similar to my old Cryonaya defense. I don't know if I'm going to have any replays. I think everybody's been, like, testing her. But as you can see, right... We do pretty good. What's the record? Yeah, so here she can do decent damage. She's more of a stall hero because, again, she has that ramp up. I still think a Cryonaya is going to be better. But let's see if I still have any attack records left. Here I have Danger Greg. We used more of... We essentially ran my favorite team, which uses Cryonaya, and we ran a Shemira over Cryonaya. Now, this fight is going to take a little bit longer. He is running the base defense here. I did upgrade her to Paragon 4, so we'll slow it down. So her extra shield just does a heavy burst. Yeah, so I mean, we can see she's doing a ton of damage in PvP. This is not the best defense, though, not by a long shot. Turtle Axe, I think, ran the base. Here we have against Elf. You know, she's doing decent damage. She does get beat out by Athalia here. Again, this is not the best defensive team. And we would have been better served running a Cryonaya here for the execute, and it would have gone a bit faster, I think. That's the thing. So you've got Siren for the execute. Siren gets one shot by Athalia there. Shemira kind of gets knocked off to the side here by Igor's tombstone. And you can actually see there that little gray bar. I'll see if we can pause it. So you see this gray bar here. That's the max HP reduction. So that's what that looks like. It's very difficult to see on stages. I don't really think it's one of those things that's overall been a factor in her skill kit. It comes from her EX weapon. It just might as well just not be in the game. I mean, it doesn't really add any value here because he's never healing back up to this point anyway. Like I said, if we had Cryonaya, we would have had the extra execute. And we could have killed Igor off faster. So it would have been more quicker and more efficient kill. Now, we do go against another team here. I do run her. See, I did manage to get her in a squad with Cryonaya. And when we do run Cryonaya, Cryonaya just does so much more damage. Now, it is worth noting that Cryo is Paragon 4 here. And this is when we did kind of like our base testing of her. So what we can do is let's go ahead, let's go yank those charms, right? Because we want to do some non-charm testing. And nobody right now is really set up to test. I mean, we did test some stuff in Supreme there, kind of against, like, Danger, because I can't remove, right, so we can't remove hers. That's fine, I'm not going to run her anyway. Where's Ludovic? I guess unless you have like a complete set, you don't have the remove option. So we can do this. Alright, so let's go back in here. Let's go back to Slow Beam. And find him. Probably just quicker to do it on my friends list. Nah, it doesn't matter. Alright, so we can duel. Let's see if they change their defense. Ha! Alright. Yeah, so here, like I said, we could just drop a Cryonaya. Or we could drop here and we'll run. We'll do this. We'll run it like I had it previously. Yeah, we'll see how it goes. That Cryonaya tornado is just devastating. Then we hit him with the Siren ult. We get hit with the Siren ult, but we got the flower bed keeping us alive. And the Siren ult just finishes him up. So you can't really see her damage kind of in action. As you can see, she gets overshown by Cryonaya when we do run her with Cryonaya. If we don't run a Cryonaya, so if we go back here and we reduel. Okay, if we go back here and we reduel. Alright, so we drop Cryonaya and we throw in an Athalia. And then we go. Now you have to keep in mind she is subject to Lily May interrupting her. She's subject to Dunlinger kind of shutting her down because she is an ult heavy hero. As you can see here, when we swapped her out, she still get overshown by a Siren and by a Thalia, and that could be due to the change in a Paragon level. So now we're at even Paragon, so our intimidation inspiration stats are the same, so the fights are gonna go a little bit quicker. So yeah, so she's just not, I'm just not really seeing it there for a PvP. Yes, she has potential for PvP, but if you already have better options, you're not going to run her for PvP. Now, if we go ahead and we'll take a look at her on the attack. All right, I was a little disappointed here. This is usually one of the stronger squads, is the Graveborn squad. It shouldn't probably have lost here, but it does. It's not an ult heavy team. I think we would have been better off running Nara here, to be honest, although it's not the best map for it. But we'll go ahead, we'll check it out, see how it goes. I mean, I give her the tile, but again, we're going up against Dun, and she is an ult heavy hero, so she's already at a disadvantage. And you see we lose. I was kind of disappointed by that. Maybe not so much a runner up against Dun teams, because Dun seems to shut her down. I did test her here. She wasn't viable at I think this was Supreme Plus. No, this was Paragon 4. Alright, so we ran her against, we ran the same one. I ran Igor, and I said, oh, let me give her a Light Forge. Well, it doesn't help. So we'll see how it goes. Because again, our artifact's getting shut down by Siren. So she just didn't, she got CC'd, she didn't do anything. Now again, I'm not really seeing it for PvP, right? So PvP just doesn't seem like it's the best way to go for her. Yes, she has the potential for PvP. I'm just not really seeing like a great team for her just yet. Yes, we're running her on defense, and yes, we're having some success here, as you can see. But she did get beat a couple times already, so it's not like it's this big indomitable defense. I don't think it's nearly as nasty as my current defense, and my current defense already has some losses on it. Well, although I did switch it up, so I'm not running the Lily May team, I'm running a Dun team that I was running here. I decided I wanted to test that on a regular arena just because the other one was just dominating and we needed to look at something new. But yeah, I just don't see her being the answer on defense as well. Like, again, she does do a good damage here. We can take a look at the types of teams that did beat her. Here we got 4-man. Here, you know, it's kind of, we get just beat by a similar team here. You can see they're using my core to beat me. That makes me sad. But yeah, they're using the Ludo Kaylin to counter Dun. That makes me sad. It makes me happy, but it makes me sad. At least, hey, more people are using it. And then here we lose to this team. Again, this team popular because it's a team that can beat other Athalia type teams. This team, again, very popular attack team. Yeah, so it's very, yeah, I can't see myself pushing her to Paragon 4. S plus for sure. She's definitely going to be a factor in Dream Realm, but we just don't know to what extent. Again, things could change, so we'll take a look at her when she comes out later in the week on Global to check her stats to make sure they stay all the same, and then we have to get through that regular Dream Realm testing on Global, right? Because it's very contained. I feel like in Pioneer we're kind of like testing in a vacuum. So we're not testing in the real world per se, so we're not seeing like how she interacts or works with other heroes in that environment when we have plus 20 heroes in the mix, when we do have everybody with their charm sets. That'll be interesting to see as well. Did not get a chance to test her in a battle drill. It is not up. Did not get a chance to test her in a guild supremacy. I don't think this is up. Not that these really matter. If she's meta there, she's meta there. You're probably going to pull her for a Dream Realm anyway, so I think it's going to be a safe S plus pull. We do need to consider conserving resources as well, because we do have those dimensional heroes coming out, and we do have the dimensional banners, and we are going to have a limited time to pull those heroes, so that's probably going to eat up a ton of our pull resources, especially the diamonds there. And because you're probably gonna want to pull for Natsu at the very least, and then maybe get a Lucy to like an S plus. Anyway, that's it for this one. I hope you enjoyed, and I will catch you guys in the next one. Bye.